All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I'm Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about cost per coin. So I went through each one of the Bitcoin miners, and using their latest financial statements, I calculated the direct costs per coin to mine a Bitcoin. This is one more piece of information to add to the puzzle. So let's take a look at the list. Okay, I'm not going to count them down. I'm not going to do a top 10 or anything like that. This is the list. You'll see one of these is in green because they have not reported. So out of all the top miners, they've not yet reported the period ended March 31st, 2023. So that is the previous quarter's number. And I will tell you, they have had volatility in the past, so I'm using that number, but it's likely to come in different than that. They've been higher and lower than this number over the last 4 quarters. So with that said, the other 8 have reported, so we have official numbers from the other 8 companies, so let's take a look and talk about it. YouTube revenue's been way down so far in the year 2023, so if you want to help support the channel and help me continue to do this on a daily basis, you can become a member of the channel by hitting the join button on the YouTube page. It's only $5 per month, so I've tried to keep this cost down to a very low number. There's a members-only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes, and on that live stream, the members get to pick a company for me to do a deep dive video on, so we do have a catalog of videos built up that are for members only that you get instant access to if you decide to join and support the channel. Also, we have a members-only Discord that I am active on as well on a daily basis. So I want to take a moment out just to thank all of the existing members. It's much appreciated, and also welcome any new members. Okay, so coming in at number 1 is Cypher. And I will tell you, last year they were not on the list because they really didn't mine any Bitcoin, or at least they didn't report the number of Bitcoin mined. This is the first full quarter that Cypher was up and running. So you're going to see their cost came in at number 1. They have the lowest cost per Bitcoin. It's really not even close. So that came in just over $7,000, $7,055. Cypher's at a big advantage both in a crypto winter and when Bitcoin is healthy. So particularly in a crypto winter at $7,000 cost per coin, they are able to mine coins. They're really probably never going to get into a scenario where they have to do any self-curtailing based on the cost of their coins. By the way, most of their costs are in fixed purchase price agreements, so this number isn't going to change dramatically over time. They're going to get up to 8.2 exahash at just these 3 facilities. So for the first 8.2 exahash, I expect this number to be fairly consistent from quarter to quarter. So it's likely they will be in first place from this point for the rest of the year anyway, in the year 2023, going into the halving just after the first quarter of 2024. So this does give them a big competitive edge. If you enjoy this content, please remember to subscribe to the channel. It does help the channel out a lot. It makes a big difference. So please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks again. So in second place is TeraWulf. They're another one that just really started ramping up last year, late last year. So you can see TeraWulf's at $9,385. That is in second place, and they are very comfortably in second place. And if you look at what they're saying, it looks like there's the potential that their costs may even come down a little bit from this. Now, they report their costs on a monthly basis and they give a lower number than this, but again, this is from the financial statement, so they may be giving their energy only number. This is all direct costs. So that's the all-in cash cost that I'm looking at. Again, what this does not include is depreciation and amortization, because that is not a cash cost. So what I'm looking for, this is a part of a larger picture where I'm trying to figure out how much cash gross profit is each company throwing off from the Bitcoin that they mine. Because obviously it's with that cash gross profit that they can pay for their overhead, which is their monthly operations. In addition to that, they can pay for any growth and potentially start to hodl Bitcoin. Okay, so those two jumped way up the list. Number 3 is Riot Blockchain. I will tell you, number 3, Riot, their number has fluctuated, and I'm just going to put a disclaimer. This is their number per their financial statements. This number's a little confusing to me, so I'm just saying buyer beware. This number doesn't quite make sense to me. Okay, so next in fourth place is CleanSpark. So CleanSpark's at about $11,800. You're going to see that CleanSpark actually was able to lower their cost per coin. We're going to compare this quarter to last quarter in a minute. So CleanSpark at $11,800. So Iris at $12,563, and then Bitfarms at $13,128. That did go up a little bit, but it went up pretty much corresponding to the difficulty level on the Bitcoin network. So that does make sense to me, and I think those are the normal fluctuations I'm looking to see. So some of these companies are starting to behave in a normal way, and we're getting enough data points for them to start becoming meaningful. Then you're going to see Hive Blockchain. This is old information. So the last time they reported, they were at 13,600. Again, they have been all over the place. There was one quarter that this number was very high. It popped up. They said it was going to be a one-time only. That was 4 quarters ago. It hasn't happened since then so far. So I'm expecting maybe this will come in somewhere in this neighborhood, but we're going to have to wait and see. This is the only one that we don't have information on out of the top 10, other than Argo Blockchain, which is never going to release their March 31st financial statements. So we won't know until the middle of the year, June 30th, we will be able to get Argo on this list. Then it jumps up for Marathon to $15,000. That's actually better than they did in the previous quarter, but you'll see that starts to get a little bit high. So in the bear market, and we're still not necessarily out of this bear market, Bitcoin's hanging around at around 27,000 right now. So it's been between 27,000 and about 31,000 for the last several months. We'll see if it maintains that area or if it moves up. It did get as low as 15,500. So you can see if we were to revisit our lows, Marathon's cost is at around 15,000 per coin. So they would have to participate, and they do still right now participate in self-curtailment as part of an effort to get their cost per coin down to this number. So they do have a higher cost. I do think this has a lot to do with their business model. They are what they call asset light. So in other words, they're depending on partners to make everything happen. So they pay more fees than everybody else, not necessarily just energy costs. They have a lot of the latest and greatest, most efficient machines. So from that perspective, you would expect this number to improve. But we're going to have to wait and see. They have always been at the higher end of all the Bitcoin miners as far as cost per coin goes. So until that changes, that would be my expectation. And we do see them curtailing even in the month of May, where they started out rolling, having big days. We saw a massive pullback at some point last week. So at this point, that looks like some self-curtailment. They talk about how they will self-curtail, and all of these companies are being a lot more sensitive to the cost of energy. So these companies are gearing up and down, sometimes as close to real time, in order to manage their costs and keep them down, which is why a lot of these companies' costs are not spiraling out of control, even though the network hash rate and the difficulty level have essentially doubled in the last year. So most of these companies, nobody's cost is up double, while the network hash rate has doubled. So you can see the technology keeps getting better. Companies are paying more and more attention to this. Obviously, they were all put in a position to have to sharpen their pencils during the crypto winter. So, from that regard, at least I think this did give a leg up on all these companies to get more efficient and find ways to stay more efficient. Then we jump to HUT, which is at 22,000. So this is a bit of an anomaly. They've been at a very high cost per coin. They are in the middle of transitioning their business. So if you want more information about that, you can check out the HUT deep dive that I've done. But they only mined 144 Bitcoin last month. Their Bitcoin mining is way down until this merger goes through. And we know they're having a problem with their energy costs. Now, if the merger goes through, they're going to jump right up to 7 exahash. Most of that will be at a different cost than this. So we're going to have to wait and see what the new HUT looks like if and when that happens. Okay, so this is the same chart, just comparing quarter over quarter. So just briefly, I want to show Cypher, which I did not report the last time I did this for the quarter ended December 31st, because their cost came out to $4,770. That did not make any sense. I think that they had mined so few Bitcoin that there just wasn't enough information for their financial statements to be meaningful. So this looks like their costs went way up, but I don't think that's fair. 7,000 is the lowest number by far, and I do think they're going to be able to maintain something in this neighborhood. It may creep up, but I do think they're probably going to finish number 1 on this list for the rest of the year. TeraWulf, you can see, as they've geared up, their number has come way down. So they were at almost 14,000 in their last financial statements. And again, I think that's because there just wasn't enough information yet. They weren't scaled up enough. So now that they're running to scale, you're going to see their cost is more like $9,300 for Bitcoin. So we'll see as they continue to scale up, can they pull that back even further? Okay, Riot Blockchain, this was the one that was a little bit of a question mark to me. They had a big improvement from 13,300 down to 10,300. So I'm going to wait. And again, I will tell you, these numbers will become more and more meaningful over time as we get a broader sample group, because some of these companies like Riot to have these big fluctuations, particularly for them to have a decrease in their cost per coin when the network difficulty level went up. All different types of things did not go their way, yet somehow they managed to have a lower cost per coin. That's why I'm just saying I'd like to wait to see next quarter's results and see where that comes in. But for now, per their financial statements, they did have the third lowest cost per coin. Okay, CleanSpark, they brought down their cost per coin a little bit from 13,300 to 11,800. Now, CleanSpark talked a lot about why they did this and how they were able to do it. So they are micromanaging their energy in real time. So they are getting some efficiencies. So they were able to maintain a pretty good rate. This is just under 12,000. So this $12,000 or $13,000 range has been standard issue over the past several quarters. Iris Energy, you'll see, actually popped up. They were at 10,200 and that went to 12,500. So honestly, this is a jump that makes a little bit of sense to me. The network difficulty level went up. This is what I was expecting to see from most of these Bitcoin miners, but due to a lot of other variables, including a lot of these companies really still just getting up to scale at full operational capacity, is affecting this number. But Iris Energy did have a jump up. These are the types of costs I'm expecting from these Bitcoin miners on a going forward basis. Bitfarms, you'll see, is in a similar situation. They went from 11,500 cost per coin per their December 31st financial statements up to 13,128. So that's about a 14% increase. That pretty much exactly corresponds with the increase in the difficulty level in that time period. So this makes perfect sense to me. Hive, this is not a fair comparison. We don't have their numbers for the first quarter, so this is last numbers quarter. Marathon, you're going to see, continues to decrease their number. They were at 18,855. They're now down to 15,206. So they do a lot of self-curtailment still, and you can see they've made a massive effort to decrease their cost per coin. So their business model does dictate, I think, they will always have a little bit higher cost per coin, even though they have more of the latest and greatest, most efficient Bitcoin mining machines. So they may be able to continue to improve upon this number, but I do think they will stay somewhere at best average. They're just not set up to get down to these numbers that Cypher and Wolf are at. However, they do mine a massive amount of Bitcoin. And then Hut, as you'll see, has had 2 quarters in a row of numbers that really don't make a lot of sense. These are very high numbers. This is why their production is down so much. They have several difficulties going on. They were at just under 21,000 last quarter. They're at just over 22,000 this quarter. So these numbers do not work. You will see a different Hut by the end of this year. If this merger goes through, then, we're going to see what they look like post-merger. If not, they're going to have to make some adjustments in some other way. So just to wrap it up, here's the list, and it ranges all the way from Cypher at just over $7,000 a coin, which is spectacular, all the way up to Hut at $22,000 a coin, which obviously is something they need to work on, and everything in between. So hopefully this is helpful to you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and please remember to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.